Warning, the following podcast you're about to listen to will contain strong language, topics, and opinions that might not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You have been warned.
Hi there. If you stumbled yourself onto this scene, you might be confused of what this is. This was the cut section to the original Part 1 episode to the Goosebumps HorrorTown TerrorVision podcast. And I decided to cut out as a form just because I think it had too much stuff and it didn't really have anything else to go by. But if you're watching this, that means you're interested in see what we had to say. Or you wanted to know more context. So, with that in mind, here it is in all its unedited glory.
All right. Anyways, Goosebumps merch.
So before we do move on, I do have to say that I do constantly quote like TV and movies and stuff like that. So be prepared for that.
I get it. Okay, don't worry. But I'm just saying, this is why people watch us. We're a bunch of goofs.
Yeah. Other than just standard talking, you hear this fucking goofball.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. This is why people watch.
All sorts of random shit unhinged.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be lazy. I'm not beeping anything. So too bad.
Oh yeah, raw footage. Yeah, let's go, baby. Woo!
They know.
Baby.
All right. It's not being monetized anyway, so who cares? Right now, anyways. I mean, if we get sponsors, then that might be a different story. But yeah, no ads. So
speaking of sponsors,
we're gonna do this one first. Fine, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, we're not exactly sponsored by this company per se, but
he wants a shell for it right now. He's drinking it.
I really do. Okay, so let me give you some time, or lend me your ear as I regale to you the amazingness that is Ghost Energy. So, Ghost Energy is a energy drink, of course, that has 0 sugars, or as it claims.
Really? It's an energy? I did not know. Google, go on.
Thank you. Anywho, so these recently came by our local 7-Eleven up here in the upper north, and they actually taste incredible. Like, despite saying that they have like 0 sugars in the can, that actually do taste like have sugar. And normally I don't like 0 sugar drinks because they taste like shit, but this actually makes all those other drinks taste like shit.
Yeah, the color for words there.
Yeah. Anyway, the one I'm currently drinking is called Orange Cream. That's the huh?
It's like, no, you couldn't say poo, you couldn't say crap. No, the S word. Good.
Well, I mean, South Park, proved that it's just
we're okay. Prime, the drink Prime. Or what was it?
Anyway, I'm not promoting Prime. Prime, it's mid. It's mid. However, Ghost Energy is by far the better ulterior because it actually tastes like what it promotes. Because so far I've only tried 3 flavors, which is cherry limeade, orange cream, which is my favorite, and one of the Warhead flavors, watermelon. The Warhead one actually tastes like a piece of Warhead candy. So if you want a Warhead candy that isn't really too sour but actually tastes like the candy, Ghost Energy is the way to go for that. Because I've actually had a friend tell me that there was a drink that was supposed to taste like Warhead candy but didn't really actually taste like it. So he was disappointed. But once he tried the Ghost Energy version, he actually liked it.
Hey, what's great about it, like, I haven't drank it myself, but what I like about it is the fact that it's called Ghost, and it's spooky, so it fits well. Fits well with it.
Well, not only that, but the reason why it's called Ghost is mainly because the drink itself, like every one of these drinks, it's very transparent. Like it has like no color whatsoever. Like you pour this in a cup and it just looks like sparkling water.
That should be scary. It's like trying to taste test what is going on there. It's like clear Pepsi. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like carbonated. It looks like carbonated water, but it has like a different flavor.
Yeah.
So there are 0 sugars in these cans. There are no artificial colors. It helps you. It claims to have epic focus, which that doesn't really come naturally for me anymore. Considering that sometimes I have a relapse in judgment and my mental stability. But I digress.
Yeah,
See, now I'm taking your
using
shit.
my word. Yes, that's a favorite. That's a nice word.
There's 0 can. There's 0 fat per can. There's 0 artificial flavors and colors. Well, yeah, it has artificial flavors actually, but artificial colors, no, because there's no color in these things. And it has natural caffeine, 180 milligrams of natural caffeine. Now, the one thing that did kind of throw me off a little was the 100 milligram neurofactor. So me and my buddy had to look this up, and I think it had something to do with like um, caffeines of sorts. I would have to relook it up because, funny enough, I forgot. But this actually tastes incredibly delicious, and I couldn't recommend this anymore. Like, if you're looking for an energy drink with like 0 sugars, I probably recommend those.
There you go, Ghost. Give us money. We shield for you. You need to give us
Well, I still.
promotions. No, you can. You shield. You can get the money, but we need profit from this. They're just encouraging like free advertising here. Not a charity
Yeah.
anymore. We need the cash. We need to live.
Now, one thing that I will say is that some people actually like stupidly try to make this into like a health energy drink, which I don't really recommend because it's still an energy drink. They're not really healthy.
I mean, some of the flavors are candy, for crying out loud. How is that? How is that healthy for you? Nothing. That's not healthy.
Well, they say that they would be considered, quote unquote, healthy because of the 0 sugar, but it still contains like 1,000 milligrams of taurine, which is
You're
not
adding
exactly healthy.
Yeah, you're adding chemicals to your body, so like pick your poison. Whatever. If it makes you happy, who cares? That's the motto. But
It's
yeah,
still pretty good. It's like if you want something that actually tastes like what it's advertised in a can, like Ghost is a pretty good one.
yeah. Okay.
All right,
Are
I'm
we
done chilling.
okay? You're done. All right. Good. Okay. Can I get on to my topic now?
I'm currently drinking orange cream. Yeah, now you can.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. All right. Now after that free advertising, let's go ahead and talk about our topic. As I was
Yes.
saying before, rudely interrupted. Speaking of
Oh,
Goosebumps,
yeah, you say rudely interrupted, but spoiler
you're
alert,
doing
this
it
was in the
again.
script.
You're doing it again. I'm talking about Goosebump merch. All right, this is the only exciting thing we got Goosebumps now. Okay, so besides
Yeah,
the reveal of the living what do you call it, Night of the Living Mummy book cover by Robert Ball, I think his name is. There are other
Night
things.
of the Living Mummy?
Hmm?
Did you say Night of the Living Mummy?
Yeah, that's the third book coming in.
For
The
House
Shivers.
of Shivers?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, wait, are you getting your books confused?
No, I'm not. I'm not getting my books confused. We got
Well,
that.
it's gonna confuse me now.
Now you know. You need to keep up with your Goosebumps lore.
Well, I've been busy drawing. Come on,
Yeah,
cut me a break.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
And chilling for
So
ghosts.
besides the yeah, I know you should be shilling for the game. We need the money. We need to continue with support. Anyways, yeah. So we got that. But one interesting thing that came out of it was they found and discovered that apparently there's a cover art done for a Goosebumps graphics novel for The Haunted Mask. Now this is not the
I've seen it.
first. Yeah, so this is not the first time that they've ever adapted graphic novel like Goosebumps into graphic novels, but this is the first time that they've actually had just one particular book be that of a graphic novel. Normally, the last time they've done it like in 3 different parts or 3 stories in one.
Goosebumps graphics.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us a
So
like if you remember those.
yeah, the art cover looks interesting, but I don't know if that's going to be the full artwork inside the book because there's been cases where the cover art cover artist is different compared to the person doing the art inside the book.
It
So
could be like one of the other Goosebumps graphic novels where Download and Die or
yeah,
the Night of Monsters or whatever.
yeah. No, I'm not saying that it's not that. I'm just saying that it could be that. So there's that whole thing that it looks good, but then it could be crap. That's all I'm saying. So we don't know if this is the actual artist who did the cover art who is also doing the other stuff. So, but it's interesting that they're actually doing a cover art for that type of thing. So that's one interesting thing about that. The other thing is apparently recently they've announced I think it's what is it? Like Halloween. There's a online store that does the Goosebump merch that they made masks
Oh,
before.
oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about because I actually bought a mask from them. It
Yeah,
was
they recently announced that they have new masks coming in now. So they have stuff like Curly, the swan, the monster, the mud monster.
oh,
We all love
it's
a
Trick
mud
or Treat
monster.
Studios.
Trick or Treat Stew, that's it. Yeah, so they got mud
Yeah.
monsters, all that stuff. So it's interesting that they actually got more stuff going on there, right? And then, of course, one other interesting thing we're to bring up is because of the topic in mind of this particular episode. As you know, the recent episodes for the Goosebumps TV has ended, and part of the two books that they brought in was Go Eat Worms and The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Now, unfortunately, they did not redo this on public, so people are like, "Well, I don't know how to read it. It has not been released." So, because Scholastic got you covered, they brought the classics back for these two particular books. Now, you might be
Wait,
thinking,
they got
did
rid
they?
of Cuckoo Clock and Doom and Go Eat Worms?
Yeah, you might be
Why?
thinking, what? Because they got featured in the show. So people are going to be like, "Oh, this is based on this," but how? I don't know. It's not available for me.
What? They removed Night of the Living Dummy 2 as well?
But that was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is new stuff. Anyways, they did the classic Goosebumps line back. And you might be thinking, oh, they brought Brandon back to do the artwork? Nope, they just slapped on the original Tim Jacobus artwork, but they did the graphics for like it's a new cover art, like the Goosebump classics, as well as the weird font they use for that, for both Go Eat Worms and the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, which kind of comes off as laziness. And now I'm kind of more curious of what exactly
Yeah.
happened to Brandon because Brandon just left. I don't know if it was because of a contract thing or what's going on, but something,
I mean,
something.
it would have to be a contractual thing.
Maybe the Goosebumps crew can interview him and find out exactly because so far they seem to be getting some interesting like characters on the show. Like I think the next one coming up, since it's being recorded near the end of January, apparently the next episode they have somebody who was an actor from the Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So that'd be an interesting
Oh,
episode. Yeah, so that'd be an interesting episode to see when that comes out.
I wonder if it's going to be the Kingsler.
No, I think it's the main kid. I think. I might be mistaken, but so we got that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's the only exciting thing going on with Goosebumps right now because Scholastics don't care about Goosebumps. No, they care about Five Nights at Freddy's. They care more about Five Nights at Freddy's. You know what? Five Nights at Freddy's is basically what Goosebumps used to be. To be honest with you, they got merch. Hell,
That's
they
the
got
best
the
one.
Fazbear
Or
Frights books. Tales for yeah, that's basically just Goosebumps, but more gory for kids. I love how one of the
yeah.
books in that story basically has a kid die by turning into garbage. No, it's true.
You'll
It's
never find
true.
that in a Goosebumps book.
Yeah, it's true. Basically, it was like it's very like all these books are gory, right? So they're not hiding like, oh, you can't do kids death because that's it's like no, kids die in brutal ways. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, the first episode, one of the first books with three of the stories. Um, one of the like it's interesting to bring up this first one, anyways, because yeah, one of the stories has this girl wanting to be beautiful, like she wants to be like she's imperfected like any other teen girl would be. So then she comes across one of the animatronics and she's like, I can help you make you beautiful. So every day she kind of changes her a little bit and she's like, just wear this necklace, okay? Make sure you always wear this necklace, right? and she falls off. The necklace falls off, and then she realizes her body starts turning into garbage because it turns out that the thing she's wearing is just a mirage of sorts, right? So she technically died. So
I
then
think I'm familiar with
she
that
just
story, actually.
died. She's just like, and then she just stopped thinking. It's like, okay, good. She just turned into a pile of trash.
Like, one story that I really did like was Count the Ways.
Yeah, count the way. That was scary. That's terrifying in its own sense. And what's scary too is I can think of the Funtime Freddy voice too. Let me
Yeah, by
count the
killing people.
ways. Yeah.
How would you like to breathe?
Uno,
I can
dos,
put down the
tres.
temperature.
Like put it, do it.
Electrocution is also pretty fun.
I feel bad for these kids because especially with that one, it's just like she's an edgy girl, but she's like she doesn't really want to die. She just says so. She's just edgy. It's like, well, I can kill
Yeah.
you. It's like, no, I don't want to. It's like, well, you said you wanted to die, and here I am. I could do it anyone you want. But anyways,
Like, I just want to die. I can help with that. LOL, not really.
It's like, no, I don't mean it really. No, too bad. Anyways, besides that point, so they basically just showed us like a lot of stuff they're doing. Like, we're doing graphic novels about the books, and then other stuff too, with the context of what they want to do with that. And it turns out
Hey, Graham, tell us about the new FNAF game coming out.
I'm about to talk about that. God. You've ruined the surprise, damn. All right, so while they were announcing this stuff, part of the FNAF news crew, like Darko and all those other crew, they're like, "Wow, there's a new game coming out. They just announced it out of nowhere." It's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, new game." And not said anything, by the way. It's like, yeah, the God, I'm stuttering now. Into the Pit. The first book story is getting adapted into a video game. And they were excited about it. And then all of a sudden, the actual trailer leaked. So they ended up having to actually, Scott's like, you know what? Okay, fine. You know, Daco and all that. You can do your reaction to it. I give you my blessing, right? And my God, does it look really good? It's like a pixelated version, version of it, but man, does it look nice? And it got me excited. It's nice to see another studio besides Steel Wool actually doing a game. No offense to Steel Wool, but you know, it's nice to have other people play around with the IP. That's all I'm saying. Because some people
we
want it to be scary, not like. You know.
Like, it might as well just be like open source at this point, or public domain.
No, he doesn't. He wants to make money after all. I mean, he might just stop making games, but he's like, no, I still need to make money. I want to live my life, please.
Because he's not. Yeah, because he's like retired, quote unquote.
Yeah, I've made my money through the movies. See, that's the other thing too. That they also got movies now, so it's like it's basically Goosebumps now. So you know what? If anything happens to Goosebumps, I'm gonna be FNAF moving forward. I think you also were into FNAF as well, maybe. Have you always been?
Like, I remember during my earlier years when I was like, still when the FNAF fan popularity was, still high. My YouTube channel actually used to be a FNAF fan character named Carl the Vampire Cupcake. And he would be like this little angry turd that like screams and shouts at everything that pisses him off. And occasionally I would also have episodes that were just like random ass cartoons where he would be interacting with some of the other like animatronics, like Candy the Halloween Cupcake, Foxy the Pirate, etc., etc.
I think I saw some commentary channel talk about you at one point, and it wasn't like focusing you on particular. It's like a group of people. I don't know. There was like some weird thing going on with that, but let's move on from that.
Okay, so the backstory behind that was because because there were a lot like that was me in that video, but the problem was I was like I actually talked about this in my YouTube channel.
You were playing a character in a sense.
Well, no, I talked about this in my YouTube channel, which is now called. I changed it to Cupid Reindeer, right? And I talked about it in a video called "Whatever Happened to Carl." And what happened was that I had this when I got into the commentary genre, I felt like all of my opinions were right, and I felt like, you know, the reason I didn't get commented on was because I was considered infallible and all that until that YouTuber, knocked me down a few pegs. And, you know, even to this day, I still praise that work for, keeping my head on a
Yeah, I mean,
substantial
she
level.
does some good work too. I mean, she does other stuff. I don't think she does a whole lot anymore, but I think she had her own little controversy a bit because of her characters OC she went by, because they're like, cultural appropriation, and it's just like, just screw off with that. Have people
Yeah,
have
cultural
fun,
appropriation's
right?
absolutely
Pooh had
stupid.
his thing, let's have people have their thing. But yeah, FNAF. That's the news for FNAF.
Yeah.
Fun stuff indeed. Yay!
So if you ever get into like commentary, if you ever get into the commentary scene, that
I don't
video
want
in
to. I'm
particular would
scared
be a
of it.
good example of what not to do.
Yeah, I'm scared. I've seen many examples. I've seen people who were in commentary and they're like, "No, I'm doing essays now."
Well, yeah, video essays are fine and everything, but
Yeah.
in the event that you do want to talk about, or commentate on something, like I said, that
YouTube
video is
doesn't
a good
allow
way
that
to help
anymore
you what
too.
not to do.
They demonetize you as soon as you're like, "Oh, bullying." Can't do that.
Well,
Demonetize the yellow dollar sign of death.
here's the thing. Like, I don't want to get into my commentary phase like
Now we can move on for
entirely,
a bit.
but I feel like a lot of the world, like I feel like a lot of problems that stem from on YouTube would have to be the monetary system.
Yeah, of course. It's like anything, right? As soon as money's involved, things usually get corrupt. Used
Because
to be all fun memes and whatnot, but then YouTube got sued by Viacom, so now it has to be all serious. Now it has to be
well,
all
here,
about the money.
here's the thing. The like at first people just made videos because it was YouTube was called YouTube because it's a place where you get to express yourself. That used to be one of its slogans. But ever since a lot of people, get monetized for posting videos and stuff, like then everything just ended up becoming corporate. Like you have to appeal to a certain demographic or you're not going to see that sweet, sweet coin, or
Yeah.
you're not going to get sponsors or all that. Like, I'm not saying to get rid of the monetary system entirely because, there are people who do actually make a living and their lives would be fucking miserable without,
Because
some way of
one of
paying for
them,
rent.
because they have to pay for the servers, because God forsaken, I can only imagine
Yeah.
how much, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Like they would have to
necessary
find
evil.
some way of paying rent somehow, right?
Yeah, it's a
So I'm
necessary
not saying
evil.
I'm not saying get rid of the monetary system entirely, but like if a lot of people talk about like all the problems that are wrong with YouTube, but I feel like a lot of people don't seem to understand that one of the main reasons of what's wrong with YouTube was the introduction of the monetary system because that's when everything fucking changed.
And on that happy note, let's go ahead and talk about internet. Speaking of internet things, there one of the, like, we've been seeing a lot of like internet animations coming through. Like, I think Amazing Digital Circus became one of the weird, like, most viewed on YouTube, and then we got
It
other
was
stuff.
way too fucking popular for its own good.
Yeah, I know, but good on them. I think I actually talked to them in their other phase before, so you know, whatever. Good for them. There are other
Give it
stuff
a shot.
too, especially with speaking of glitch. They got Spooky Month, which is with Starpalo, and then they got Lackadaisy, I think it's what it's called, or I'm probably pissing people off because of my mispronunciation of that, but screw me, I
I
can't be
mean, you were
bothered.
pissed off by my, rants,
And then one of
I think
them
you're
being with Vizzy Pop's Has Been Hotel. I mean, not Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss. But speaking of Has Been Hotel, that's officially now out. And what was interesting about that was I
on Amazon.
remember when the pilot came out back in 2018, almost 7 years ago. And what was interesting about
Jesus,
that?
7 years? What?
Yeah, it was that long. And
God, I'm so
what
sorry.
happened was it ended up getting picked up by A24, which is like ridiculous. Like they're mostly well known for doing a lot of stuff. Like they've hired the person who did like they did movies like Cut Gem, or with Adam Sandler. Then there's the one director who did Hereditary and Midsummer, and then he did that one
Those
movie
movies
that
I've never
cost
seen,
him
by the way.
millions of dollars because he wanted to do an artsy fartsy film. He's like, oh, God. It's like, that's not scary. But anyways, they ended up funding her project, which is Has Been Hotel, and it became a Amazon Prime exclusive. And it's also been funded by Beatbox, which is I know Beatbox because they also did Bob's Burgers and I think Glove and Boots, which was on YouTube, but I think they stopped that now. But anyways, I digress. My favorite word. Yeah, so that's officially out now, and there's been certain reviews on it. Like I've watched a few episodes of it, and I actually like it. I mean, the music is really well done. I can see why they did the voice actors that they did because they wanted to have it be Broadway, kind of like. Imagine if it's like a play. Do you have to be able to
Nifty
sing
will
if
always be
you're in
best girl.
theater, or else you're not hired. Screw you. But
Nifty will always be best girl.
yeah, and then got Kevin Clash being Husk, which is like I when I soon heard about that, I'm like, oh boy. And then they also got Brandon to be the guy who voiced Blitzo. He actually voiced as Killjoy, and I'm just like, oh,
Remember, it's Blitz. The O
that's
is silent.
perfect because especially since the character was based off of his character of I don't know what her name is, but she does that.
Amanda Thrust.
Yeah, that's it, Nancy Thrust.
Nancy Hard Thrust.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but yeah, it's funny. But anyways, yeah, so that show's out now. Amazon's been promoting the crap out of it by showing like, hey, you can sing along too. Here's our first episode for free. And then you have to pay Amazon Prime in order to see it. So because I already paid for Prime because I like shipping for free, I end up getting the thing. So I ended up watching some of the episodes, and there's still some more episodes coming through. I think the last ones are coming in February. I think the 6th. No. Yeah, I think it's the 6th. I don't know. It's somewhere near February is going to be the last. I think there was like 8 episodes together. So we got that still. But as far as the things go now, I mean, I like what it's showing. The one criticism a lot of people bring up is that they really like to swear a lot. Like
Well, yeah.
ridiculously to the point where people memed. It's just like, what if this show was run if Busy Pop did it? And it's just like, hey, fine, beep, are you? It's like, I'm beeping fine, beep. It's like the SpongeBob episode. It's just like, hey, Patrick, nice day we're having.
I think the one biggest criticism is how hell is run.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of visual things too. Like, I don't mind the visuals, but people critique it's just like her art's the same. It's like, there's
No.
weird pictures. And
The
what?
basis of my here's the thing. The basis of my critique is that apparently only it's been stated by Vivzy Pop, I believe, numerous times, that she said that there were only certain people that go to hell, right? So you wouldn't find anyone you'd find your standard type of criminals like thieves,
Yeah,
murderers, and all that shit,
yeah.
but also a bunch of gay people. But never
That's
would you
the
find
one
the more
thing that bugs
detestable
me
ones.
about it. Like, I get the whole thing. It's just like, really? Okay. That seems like a bad message, Vizzy. Like, I'm being inclusive. It's like, yeah, but
I feel like
Let's
if
not. Whoa,
they actually portrayed
let's
hell
not
as
talk
where
over
everyone who
that.
does the most insane shit goes, then it wouldn't be as bad of a problem, because I was I don't remember where I remember seeing this, but apparently in the world it has been a hotel, right? Pedophiles don't fucking exist.
We should just call this a controversy. Hey, welcome to our first episode of
Most controversial podcast ever.
HorrorTown. Let's talk about controversial stuff where you can click off.
I feel like because of the lack of actual detestable evil people in hell, it kind of gives off the wrong impression that they're all
Criminals, yeah. And that's, I mean,
considering how much Adam was like considering how much of a fucking dick Adam was in the first episode,
Yeah.
you can understand where I would jump to that conclusion.
The thing is, too, I just want to throw out there, is just like, when you look at any show, you usually will find critiques in anything. Like, one thing a lot of people bring up, it's just like, whenever there's something bad, you usually critique a lot of it. Like, you bring up some of the points. It's like, why? It doesn't make sense that this is here and whatnot. A good example of this is Toy Story. You love Toy Story, right? Well, if Buzz thought himself as a real Buzz Lightyear, like, he thought he was an actual soldier, why didn't he go to Andy and be like, "Hi, Andy, I'm Buzz Lightyear, Star Command."
Okay,
Right?
I
But
believe
he
there was
acted like a toy,
theory-
despite him not saying he's not a toy, right? That doesn't make
exactly.
any
I can
sense, but no
understand
one
that,
cares
but I
about
feel
that
like
because
it's
that's so
kind of.
good.
I feel like I believe there was a theory that went around about this where it's kind of like a basic instinct of sorts,
Yeah,
like it's a
I know.
involuntary.
That's the thing. Now we're going to try to what do you call it? Fight. We're trying to defend this now, right? Uh,
Well,
I'm
the
just
thing,
using that as
like,
an example. I'm not picking on it in particular. I'm just saying that when it comes to
I
certain
understand.
things, yeah, certain
But
stuff comes
I
in.
but I do remember there was a theory about that, and I think it had something to do with an involuntary response to, human children being present, or any adult for that matter. But then
Yeah,
again,
yeah. It's,
during like
it's like blinking or breathing.
later on in the film, they revealed themselves in front of Sid. So
Well, yeah, but that was like I love how by the way, Meat Candy did a thing about that. It's just like, yeah, you got cancer now. What? Yeah, sorry. That's why we did that. Why do you think what happened? What do you think happened to Sid? It's like, I thought he moved away. Nope, he died. Sorry, Andy. We really didn't want to do this, but you made us have no choice.
well, I'm pretty sure Andy didn't have like fucking Caillou levels of bull.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. God, but yeah, that's a thing. It's interesting that we actually get to see, like, I wouldn't say indie, but YouTube-ish stuff come into official. And she's not the first one, by the way. There are other people who did stuff like that too. But it's just interesting to see
A
as
very
big of a name as that. Like, especially since I knew of
recent example
VisiPop
is
before VisiPop became popular.
a good but reluctant example of this.
Is what?
Annoying Orange.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. You got lost connection there. That now that you got to watch the
Yeah.
podcast and be like, the thing is, and it's
I just feel like it might.
internet, man, the internet. What can you do? You know. Oh God, they're freaking out outside. Anyways, let's do our last topic before we end up getting canceled. Our first episode, official episode, canceled. Sorry, we didn't get to the topic we wanted to. So speaking of
We've been
defending,
rambling on for fucking hours.
yeah, speaking of defending stuff, Pal World. Yeah, that was a game that came
Yay.
out of nowhere. Well, not really.
I
People
love
have
Pal World.
knew that this thing existed, but then a lot of people saw it's like, oh, a funny Pokemon game with guns. But then they play and they're like, oh, hey, wait a minute, actually, this is pretty good. This is a good game.
Okay, so
I like this.
okay, so the meme of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then the third game is Pokemon Gun.
Yeah, they did so took that.
Okay, so it was all haha, that's really funny. But as soon as it actually became a reality, everyone's like fucking up in arms about it,
That's the weird thing about it too. Like, especially when you come to talk about Sword and Shield. I remember when they released the Pokemon trainers, and especially when they saw the female trainer, they're like, Scottish. Everyone's head
Oh,
canon is
I
like, yeah,
fucking love the Scottish chick, man.
and it's like, it'd be pissed off. It's like, if she's not Scottish, I'm gonna riot.
Oh, people have been drawing her like shouting angrily and like weird
Like, oh,
Scottish terminology. It's fucking great. I love it.
She's Scottish. Yeah. But anyways, but
Also,
speaking of topic of that, yeah. So the reason with the guns is that they actually did an interview with the actual people who did it. Like, it's interesting if you look into this because the team did other games, and this was like they put a lot of money into this, and they were just like, this is our last kind of dish effort, and it blew up for them, so it paid off. But the one reason is just like we included guns because Americans like guns, so we knew that in order to sell well, we have to
You
give
think
guns
that
to America. Yeah, that's it. And then they also said with body type A and B, we know Americans like to make ugly characters, so we gave them the option to do whatever they want with the character. And it's like, no,
oh, it's
no,
such a middle finger. I love
studios
it.
like to make ugly characters,
Oh,
females
it's so
particularly. God, but
I love that it's such a middle finger to like anybody could possibly like piss off, you know?
yeah, I know. I mean, but that's the thing. It's a good game. It actually runs well, which is surprising. They went on the Unreal Engine 4. And it's just it's great. I mean, it's funny too because people play and they're like, wait a minute, like you can capture these cute creatures and have them work for you and make them do slave labor if you really want to, or to have them upgrade and have guns or shoot them as weapons, and even going as
Because
far as
data
to
doesn't
be like
exist in this world.
even going as far as to kill the animals if you want to, and you can also capture humans and make them your slaves. Like the game allows you to do this, but the game's like, oh, that what you did was bad, not, but it still
Yeah,
allows
it's
you to
kind of
do
like
it.
how I forgot that one game series, the Hitman series, I think it was, where but depending who you kill, you get penalized for it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the beauty. I love when games do that. It's like gives you the options. It's like it punishes you for doing bad things, but they allow you to do it anyways. Like if you want to, do it, you can. But just know you're just screwing yourself over. Like how I don't know if it was in Zelda, but there was other games that kind of did this system where it's like if you can rob a place your first time, but if you come back to this place, not only will they be ready for you, but they will go after you.
And you're
Like
gonna
you're
get
not
your
gonna get
nice
away
little
scot free
booty
from it.
stuck in jail.
No, no, and that's the beauty of it. Like, and if you killed somebody, it's like, well, now you screwed yourself over, right? And then other games do that too. It's just like what do you call it, the Souls game? I think I saw a meme somewhere where it's just like, hey, your game is like mine. Yeah, let's call it Souls. Hey, your game is like mine. Yeah, let's call it Dungeon Crawlers. And it goes to the powwows. Hey, your game's like, angry noises. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
but
Pokemon.
apparently
Like,
Nintendo
not
like kind
every.
of
Well,
oh
I should question. Not everybody, right? There are people who are fans of Pokemon because
yeah,
Pokemon is
because
such a
apparently
huge
Nintendo's
brand.
like
In fact, I think it's the largest known brand out there that makes them lots of money, right? Which makes sense.
oh, before you do anything, I want to emphasize that point by saying that there was a study that showed that Pikachu was more recognizable than Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. So just note that how big the Disney is. Yeah, Pikachu is better. But anyways. Yeah, so we got this huge conglomerate, all right? And then here comes a fan game coming out. And it's not really based off of anything for Pokemon. Like you could say, yeah, some of the monsters kind of might get inspired by some of the Pokemon, but they weren't outright copy paste. They're their own original thing and they have their own original stuff. In fact, a lot of people
If
say
this is
that
the
this
one original thing, then is it still technically considered a fan game?
Yeah, but the other thing too is that well, it's not really a fan game because this game is not really like Pokemon. Like you play Pokemon, you capture animals and you battle them and go to be the best of them all and capture them all. That's the whole point. This game though is more like, hey, you need to survive.
Sorry, you keep cutting off.
Sorry, I mean you can
Wait.
see this in the end, but it's just saying like hey, you can survive this game. But also, you can capture these cute animals and have them work for you. And you can put guns on them if you want to.
Yeah.
The main game is survival. If you don't survive, well, I guess you die. Sorry. But it's a fun little gimmick. It's like a lot of people, there's a market for this. And the
Oh
problem
yeah,
with
definitely.
Game Freak is that they've been so lazy with this stuff that now
Well,
here comes a game that kind of gives some audience a niche. So this is healthy for them. This is like, hey, Nintendo, look, people want stuff like this. You should make a game like this, but in your own brand, right? You don't have to put the guns or anything like that, but you can do some creative things, right? But
Well, hang on. It's not exactly a lazy thing that Nintendo is doing this. It's just that Nintendo, like, it's been a well-known fact that Nintendo has actually been notorious for going around banning anything that they don't approve of, because they're supposed to be like a good example of this is if you even so much as make like certain fan art, they'll just downright sue you on the grounds that you're using their character.
well, the
Like,
thing
they're
is
really
too.
sensitive with their properties.
Well, the thing is too. They recently take down a mod that was like, "Hey, let's change all the assets to Pokemon stuff," and Nintendo's like, "No," which rightfully
Well,
so. They don't want to get in trouble, so they're like, "Yeah, okay, let's shut that mod down." Sorry.
yeah, that's at least a bit reasonable. Like,
Yeah, that's
the
obvious.
Pokemon mod is a little, you know, I know I can understand why Nintendo would have to, put a ban hammer on that, but when the game itself, they don't really have much of a case.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people are arguing. It's like, "Oh, they do," and I'm like, "No, they don't. They don't have a case. Stop lying." But yeah,
Well, they don't when it
they
comes to
really
the
don't.
actual game, but when it
No.
comes to the Pokemon mods, then yes, they do.
Yeah, the only they didn't steal any assets, despite some people saying otherwise. They proved that's not the case, and they shown that they did not it's not a copy paste of their actual game. So they don't own here's the thing: they don't own the rights to be able to catch cute Pokemon, right? Like cute animals, right?
They don't own the rights to animals
No, they don't. And there are other stuff there's Digimon, right? That was a thing,
or
and
plants.
there's a whole lot of stuff, right? Like Temtem, I think that was another one that came out. That's more of a Pokemon ripoff, but you know,
Let's not forget, like, there are many different like monster capturing shonen anime and games out there. Like, a good example would be Monster Rancher
yeah,
and fucking Digimon, of course.
yeah,
Well, technically, Digimon isn't really much of a monster capturing thing, but you do have like a little monster companion, so it does technically fall under that list.
yeah. Right. So I guess that concludes our quota for the warning label. I don't know what we almost did an hour of this conversation stuff, and we didn't even get to the some fun stuff. I wonder how many people left. Or you know what? They just skipped it. Why not? I think that's about
Yeah, we
it.
should probably just like continue on because.
No, we're not going to continue. Already,
What do you
we
mean we're not
talked
going to
about
continue on?
controversial stuff already.
I
I
want
feel
to know about
uncomfortable.
Goosebumps horrors
I
now,
feel
and we're not going to get
uncomfortable
to
over this,
that.
man. This is why it's called TerrorVision, because it's terrifying to know that you're not getting to the subject matter. All right, fine. All right, I think that's about
They
it
want to know
for
about
our topic.
HorrorTown, and they're not going to get HorrorTown.
No, you're not.
That's not
Are we
going to
done
be
with
the first episode.
I think we're done with the topics, right?
Yeah, I wanted to move on. You're like, no, we
Okay,
can't move
yeah,
on. I'm like,
fine,
why
move
not?
on. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.